Welcome back to Life's Cholent. After completing my series where I spoke about each week's Parsha or Torah portion for the last year, I decided it was finally time to explain what is Life's Cholent and where this name came from. So it's no secret that in Judaism, food is a central aspect of many cultural events and many holidays. If you think about Hanukkah, oftentimes you'll think about potato latkes and jelly donuts. If you think about Passover, you'll think about matzah. When you think about Rosh Hashanah, perhaps you think about apples and honey, and on Shabbat, challah. There are all these different foods that are that sort of remind us of different holidays and different aspects of Judaism. And food is something that brings people together, and a lot of the recipes that we have nowadays have been around for hundreds of years. So cholent is a food, it's a dish that is usually served on Shabbat during lunch. So on Saturday lunch, it's usually a food that's served. And cholent is sort of an ancient Jewish food. It dates back hundreds of years to Jewish communities, and it's typically comprised of meat, beans, barley, and kishka, which is sort of like a paprika stuffing. And what's interesting about cholent is essentially how it works is you do all the preparations for this meal on Friday. There is a biblical prohibition, there's a commandment that we should not start a fire on Shabbat. And as it's been translated over the years into modern societies where most people are not starting fires on a regular basis, but it's sort of been viewed as electricity, that we can't use electricity on Shabbat. Part of that also, it's a transgression to cook on Shabbat. Because of the fire, because of the preparation, there are different reasons why you can't cook on Shabbat. And so if you wanted to have a meal that was hot on Shabbat, it would have to be something that you started the fire before Shabbat and let it sort of simmer overnight until Shabbat lunch on Saturday, when you would be eating this meal. So cholent would be consumed on Saturday lunch after having been simmering all night long. And the explanation for the word cholent, it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. The word cholent comes from two French words, chaud and law. Chaud meaning hot, law meaning slow. And so it was something that is a hot meal that was cooked slowly. And so that's where most people believe that the word cholent is derived from. And throughout the centuries, I suppose, throughout the centuries when there would be different periods of famine or hunger, Jewish people would put in cholent whatever they could sort of scrap together. And nowadays as well, there are many, many, many different recipes for cholent that have different ingredients. Some people make sweeter cholent, some people put eggs in their cholent. There are many variations. And each person, each family probably has a tradition of what they put into their own cholent. In my family, we too have our own recipe. Ours is a vegetarian cholent, and I will leave the recipe, it's my mother's recipe, in the description below, so that if you would like to make cholent for yourself, if you've never had it, or if you're just looking for a new recipe, that you will have something that you can try. It's delicious, I highly recommend it, but what's interesting about it is it's always a mix of different ingredients, of different foods that are coming together in this pot. And so when I was thinking about a name for my YouTube channel that was going to be about a variety of different topics, I felt like cholent was very fitting. Because yes, all you have seen so far has been about the Torah and each week's Torah portion, but going forward, there are so many wonderful Jewish topics that I'm looking forward to discussing. I have to talk about Jewish prayer, marriage, education, families, the life cycle. There are so many wonderful, enriching topics that we can focus on that I think will be really beneficial to learn about. And it's not just going to be me talking. I hope to talk to many experts in sort of different Jewish areas, and I also hope to talk to lay people like myself about the ways that they choose to practice Judaism and what's meaningful to them. And so going forward with my channel Life's Cholent, it is going to become this rich mixture of a variety of wonderful Jewish things. And if you have any topics that you would like me to delve into or that you want to know about, feel free to leave those topics in the comments, and I will happily make a video on them in the future. And so I hope you all have a wonderful week and a Shabbat Shalom.